Get your name now at get.buzz. Arguing for the end of adult marijuana prohibition is easy because we have facts, science, reason, compassion, evidence, truth, and logic on our side. It is even easier when researchers catalog it all for us. Learn how to gather the facts on marijuana use, arrests, seizures, rehabs, drug tests, and more in this edition of Drug War Data Mining.
Welcome back, everyone. Almost 23 after the hour. In the Data Mine today, the big headline story is the Denver Post that says marijuana involved in 12% of Colorado State Patrol DUI cases. Oh my God, everybody run. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Of course, this is from John Ingold at the Post, and he's been known to sensationalize toward an anti-marijuana slant in his reporting. And it's one of those situations where what he reported was true. 12% of the people that were cited for DUI did have some level of marijuana that was involved. But there's some important details in this that are being glossed over. And the real story behind these numbers is the fact that marijuana is proving to be far less a risk on our highways and freeways than is alcohol. Here are the numbers. And again, it's 5,500, a little more than 5,500 DUIs, a little more than 670 involved marijuana, but only 354 involved marijuana only. And we don't know at what levels. There's a presumptive 5 nanogram limit in Colorado. It's presumptive inference that you're impaired if you're over 5 nanograms. But the cops didn't release any data on how much or what level of nanograms were listed. Another important thing to understand about this is that 75% of the DUIDs, that is 75% of these 5,500 DUIs, were from DUI checkpoints. So DUI checkpoint is not a cop who sees someone weaving down the road irresponsibly, pulls them over, and suspects they're being impaired. A DUI checkpoint is just a line through which every driver has to go through, and then the cops determine whether or not they ought to be talking to him. So this could be a simple case. 3 out of 4 of these marijuana cases could simply be a case where the cop smells marijuana on the driver or in the car and then proceeds to do the testing. There's no indication that the person who was in that car was impaired at the time and driving all recklessly. They were merely coming through a checkpoint. And this really shows up when you take a look at the data itself. Alcohol, by far, is the biggest cause for DUI citation in the state of Colorado. As usual, 88%. 7 out of 8 of all DUIs that were picked up in Colorado were for alcohol. And another 6% of those also had marijuana. That would include the case of the guy who was a high-profile case there in Colorado where he wrecked, and they found marijuana in the system, and they made a big deal about it. And then later they found out, oh yeah, he was also 3 times the legal limit with alcohol. All we are determining when we are catching most of these people for so-called marijuana DUI in the state of Colorado is the fact that they use marijuana. And this is very easily seen when you take a look at the figures for who uses alcohol and marijuana in the state. According to the latest 2013 National Survey on Drug Use and Health sub-state numbers, 66% of adults 18 and older in the state of Colorado use alcohol on a monthly basis. That's 2 out of 3 people use alcohol on a monthly basis. The numbers for marijuana use of people 18 and older are about 13%. It's 12.9%. So about 1 out of 8. Now, looking at the DUI figures, we find that about 1 out of 16 of the DUIs are for marijuana use alone. So marijuana users make up 1 out of 8 people in the state of Colorado, and they're half that rate of the DUIDs that are picked up. And that includes 3/4 of the DUIs that are picked up merely for going through a DUI checkpoint, not for being detected to be impaired in any observable way. Now, the numbers don't perfectly correlate because certainly there are people who drink alcohol and use marijuana. But again, we only have about 6% of those that get picked up in the DUI statistics as well. So when we see that 2 out of 3 people drink alcohol in the state of Colorado, And we understand that alcohol metabolizes out of someone's system in a rapid fashion to the point where a few hours later they won't even be detected. To have 7 out of 8 DUIs related to alcohol is a far greater rate than the use of alcohol in the general population. That's the true story coming out of these DUI numbers, is once again, marijuana is really no big deal on the roads compared to all the alcohol abuse going on there. Now, it should always be reiterated that we do not support people getting impaired on marijuana and getting behind the wheel. But we also understand that marijuana does not impair judgment like alcohol, and marijuana users are quite aware of how impaired they are, and frequent marijuana users can develop a tolerance to the impairing effects of marijuana. Even the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says that it is inadvisable to try to predict impairment based on marijuana in the blood or blood serum alone. Inadvisable. And that's our own National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And furthermore, the real question is, has harm gone up? And what we found in Colorado in 2014, at least through the first 6 months where data is available, they have fewer highway fatalities in 2014 than they did in 2013, and both years are